KPBS On Demand is supported by ACLU of San Diego and Imperial Counties. The work of the ACLU is about closing the gap between the America that was promised and the America that is. Learn more at www.aclu-sdic.org.
Good morning, I'm Lawrence K. Jackson. It's Monday, June 8th. The City Council will consider a plan to restore arts and culture funding. More on that next, but first, let's do the headlines. As first reported by the Union Tribune, San Diego home prices are showing slight gains but haven't been keeping pace with inflation for over a year. The Case-Shiller Index report shows that home prices in the San Diego metropolitan area increased roughly 0.8% annually in March, while inflation rates in the area came in at 3.2%. That's a gap of more than 2%. The UT says that San Diego County stands as one of only 9 regions to still see a rise in home prices. Continuing on with the price of San Diego County homes. The former La Jolla estate of Theodore Geisel and his wife recently sold for $9 million. Geisel is better known as acclaimed children's book author Dr. Seuss. The 5,000 square foot Spanish Revival home sits on roughly 1.5 acres and features ocean views. The Union Tribune says that the home's new residents also have an affinity for books, as owners and operators of La Jolla-based Bird Rock Bookshop. The UT reports that up to 42 of Geisel's published works were written at the La Jolla home, such as Green Eggs and Ham and The Cat in the Hat. And now some affordable housing-related news. A grand opening was held in Hillcrest Friday to celebrate the launch of The Bell. It features 80 affordable homes ranging from studios to 3 bedrooms and serves individuals and families earning 30 to 50% of the county's median income. The developer says The Bell is unique because while Hillcrest remains as one of the county's most sought-after areas, it also continues to be one of the least attainable for lower-income families. From KPBS, you're listening to San Diego News Now. Stay with me for more of the local news you need.
KPBS On Demand is supported by Rug Expo. For over 30 years, Rug Expo has served San Diego. Family-owned and locally operated, offering a large selection of rugs sourced from around the world, providing cleaning, repair, and appraisal services to care for your investment. Learn more at rugexposd.org.
Arts advocates, city leaders, and philanthropists announced a plan on Friday to restore San Diego's arts and culture funding. Reporter Tammy Murga says it's in response to $11.8 million that would be cut under the mayor's proposed budget.
The spending plan was announced outside of San Diego City Hall. City Council member Kent Lee says there is a way to restore nearly all of the arts and culture funding in the budget.
It's been the same budget battle. There has to be a better way. And today, we're announcing our intention to find one.
He says arts leaders, government officials, and philanthropists came together to develop the plan. They're proposing $10.3 million to support the sector. Most of the funds would come from hotel tax revenue and a one-time donation from the Previs Foundation. Grant Oliphant is with the foundation. He says philanthropy should not replace public investment in the arts.
Our investment is intended to encourage the city to restore as much funding as possible.
The proposal needs approval from the City Council and the mayor. They will vote on the budget Tuesday. Tammy Murga, KPBS News.
The San Diego County Civil Grand Jury examined a decision by the Grossmont Union High School District Board to change mental health providers. Education reporter Katie Anastas says the decision left students without mental health services for 4 months.
At a 2023 meeting, the board was set to vote on renewing its contract with San Diego Youth Services. Anthony Carnavale spoke during public comment. He's a parent in the district and a member of the Cajon Valley School Board.
They advertise talks to kids on top surgery and transitioning.
He referred to a program from San Diego Youth Services called Our Safe Place. It provides mental health services for LGBTQ youth and can provide referrals to gender-affirming care. The board voted 3-1 to deny renewal of the contract. The grand jury says the board's decision was based on, quote, falsehoods and misrepresentations about care provided to LGBTQ+ students.
Our Safe Place was not a program that was actually located within the schools.
Jonathan Castillo is the CEO of San Diego Youth Services. He says students are only referred to outside programs like Our Safe Place if a mental health clinician thinks it's appropriate. In an email, district spokesperson Colin McGlashan said, quote, disagreement with a board decision is not, in and of itself, evidence that board policies, bylaws, or the education code were violated. The district has 90 days to comment on the report's findings and recommendations. Katie Anastas, KPBS News.
Imperial Valley voters have rejected a controversial candidate for the Imperial Irrigation District, the region's powerful water and power agency. Reporter Corey Suzuki says Carlos Duran's campaign was backed by a Southern California data center developer.
Duran was running for a seat on IID's board of directors. He had previously worked for the data center developer, Imperial Valley Computer Manufacturing. Campaign filings show he took $30,000 in donations from the company. Company CEO Sebastian Rucci had accused IID of not giving them a transparent process. Here's Rucci speaking on KQED's forum earlier this year.
I was actually given the absolute reverse, which I thought was illegal. So I handled it politically instead of going back at it legally.
During Tuesday's primary election, though, voters rejected Duran by a wide margin, instead voting to re-elect incumbent director Alex Cardenas, who served on IID's board of directors for 8 years. Cardenas says he sees the results as a sign that voters valued experience and a sense of ethics.
They want a transparent government that doesn't placate to special interests.
Duran did not respond to an interview request. Corey Suzuki, KPBS News.
Before the current Trump administration, immigration arrests at military bases were a rarity. But reporter Gustavo Solis says over the last year, dozens of immigrants have been arrested on San Diego's bases.
As an immigration lawyer, Stephanie Alcala has learned not to be surprised by the lengths that ICE and other federal agents will go to in arresting her clients. But she'll never forget about a case from last Thanksgiving. The father of a Marine had been detained at Camp Pendleton.
And he was dropping off his son after they had Thanksgiving dinner. And his son was in the military. He went to the military base to go drop off his son. And at that point, he was apprehended.
Another client was a woman simply looking for a cup of coffee.
She was dropping off her daughter. She dropped her off, went to get coffee. Coffee shop was closed. She put in the GPS that she wanted to go to another coffee shop. And it gave her the directions. And she drove as the GPS guided her onto a military base.
Immigration arrests at military bases were extremely rare prior to the current Trump administration. But last year, Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton launched a new security initiative with ICE and Customs and Border Protection. The aim was to deter unauthorized access to the military base by foreign nationals. And since then, dozens of immigrants have been arrested in San Diego's military bases and held at the Otay Mesa Detention Center. Jose Diaz is a Lyft driver who was arrested in March while trying to pick someone up at Camp Pendleton. He was detained for 6 weeks.
Pero ahora te amarran de los pies, te amarran de la cintura y vas pegado aquí y vas con las cadenas que vas en la tronadera. Y eso a todo mundo le afecta. A todo.
Diaz remembers the humiliation he felt when federal agents put cuffs around his wrists, ankles, and waist. He's been in the U.S. for 4 years, has a valid work permit, works 3 jobs, pays taxes, and says that he has never gotten in trouble with the law.
Es como que buscan más para perjudicarte a ti. Entonces, eso yo le veo mal porque nosotros en este país no estamos haciendo nada malo más que trabajar.
Diaz supports deporting immigrants who break the law, and even the ones who accept government welfare without working for it. But he says it is deeply unfair to use criminal immigrants as justification to detain people who follow the rules.
Por tipo de esas personas es que nos perjudican a nosotros, a los que sí queremos trabajar aquí.
When ICE agents arrested Diaz at Camp Pendleton, he met 2 DoorDash delivery drivers who had also been arrested earlier that day. In fact, delivery and rideshare drivers have been arrested at military bases so often that they are now warning each other to stay away. They share their stories on WhatsApp and in Facebook groups. Valentin is an immigrant driver and organizer. He asked KPBS not to reveal his full identity due to his lack of legal status.
Entonces tenemos que tomar cuidado, aunque siempre es riesgoso. Sí es riesgoso.
He encourages all immigrant drivers to refuse trips into military bases, tells them just to cancel the rides, even if that means making less money.
Y si los que necesitan nuestro servicio, pues tenemos que a veces cancelarlos.
And that loss of income is significant. On weekends, driving sailors and Marines back from bars to their bases can be very lucrative. By not accepting those rides, Valentin says his weekend earnings have dropped between 10 and 15%. A Camp Pendleton spokesperson deferred all questions to ICE. A spokesperson for ICE declined to comment on individual cases, but confirmed that agents are helping verify identification at entry points in military bases. Jose Diaz no longer drives for Lyft or Uber. He now questions whether it's even possible for immigrants to have a safe and stable future here.
¿De qué vale ser una persona recta y justa en este país cuando tú aportas al país y el país te trata como delincuente?
In detention, he struggled to understand why he was even there, and remembers asking his lawyer, Stephanie Alcala, why.
I don't have an answer, and I can't answer that. And it's frustrating because I can see the anguish in my client's eyes, and I just can't. There's nothing I can do about it.
She does not see this as a security issue. None of Alcala's clients have a criminal record. Her theory is that the Trump administration is doing this because they know they can get away with it.
The detention primarily was because they could.
She is also telling all of her clients to avoid San Diego's military bases. Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.
Residents of a Chula Vista retirement community are celebrating a staff member who's shown up for them for half a century. Health reporter Heidi DeMarco tells us why he has no plans to retire.
Every morning, Security Supervisor Tom McKeevick starts another day at Frederica Manor, making his rounds through the Chula Vista retirement community he first joined in 1976.
Hello.
If you ask him what he's loved most about the last 50 years,
I guess that I can be of service to people, that I can be an important part of their life.
along the way he's formed friendships with residents like Charlie Bradley.
Yeah, that sounds like classical Spanish.
The two bond over a shared love of music.
Tom always seems to be there when we need somebody to take care of us.
Serving others, he says, has brought its own rewards.
It's a situation where you're helping them, but in a lot of ways, they're helping you.
The job gives him structure, friendships, and something to look forward to each day. And despite reaching a milestone few workers ever do, he says he has no plans to retire. Heidi DeMarco, KPBS News.
For full disclosure, Frederica Manor is a supporter of KPBS. A graduation ceremony will be held today for students who participated in the United Lowrider Youth Leadership Bike Club. Teresa Garza is one of the program's mentors. She says students at High Tech High Chula Vista joined the program to learn how to build custom lowrider bikes and develop leadership skills.
You know, we do different paint jobs, different patterns. It's to our liking, and that's what we want to see out of the students. You know, use their imagination, build their bikes the way they want to see them. We want them to feel confident. We want them to be able to express themselves, respect each other.
Another cohort will launch in the fall, and the program will also expand to serve students countywide at Southwestern College. For more information, visit the United Lowrider Coalition website. That's it for the podcast today. This podcast is edited by Brooke Ruth and hosted and produced by me, Lawrence K. Jackson. As always, you can find more San Diego news online at kpbs.org. Thanks for listening, and have a great weekend.
KPBS On Demand is supported by AARP California, hosting a series of no-cost fraud prevention workshops across San Diego this summer, with information on how to recognize and avoid scams, protect your identity, and stay safe online. Register at aarp.org/San Diego Scam Jam.